What's up, homies? How we doing? It's me, Captain Planet. These YouTube videos, by the way, they go a little bit slower paced, a little bit more relaxed, you know, because why on earth should we be in a hurry on YouTube? If you guys are in a hurry, you can check out this similar video in about 45 seconds on the TikTok channel, Captain Planet EPP. Just throwing that out there because I'm known to take my time. This video is about books. So I've asked some people if they would like to leave comments to leave some suggestions of some videos that they would like to have as far as what you guys would like to learn from me. And a lot of people are like, you know, what kind of books can I get my hands on, Captain Planet, that can kind of steer me in that direction that you're in as far as all the plant knowledge that you have? You know, not only do I love to identify plants and stuff, but as you can see in all the dryers and jars, I love plant medicine, you know, and as far as making medicine from plants. I realize that in today's hippie world, plant medicine like means ayahuasca or something, but I've never done that. Anywho's, I wanted to talk about some different books. Now, keep in mind, this is just in my office. I have a living room where there's a ton of more books, but these are some books that I just keep right at my corner while I'm working here in front of my desk. You know, so I want to let you know why some of these books have been picked for that reason. You know, so these are great for not only plant identification and plant medicine, but also for you bushcrafters out there. You know, I've got some bushcraft books too, of course, but you know, people forget, you know, that bushcraft is more than just how to start a fire. That's called survival skills. Like bushcraft, let me tell you the difference between them. Difference between bushcraft and survival skills is survival skills is the stuff you want to know to get you out of the woods and back into the man village. Bushcraft is what you want to know when you give up on the man village and you don't want to go back. You just want to stay in nature. Big difference between the two. And people forget that in bushcraft, you know, it's good to know your plants. You know its uses. You know, I can sit there and walk up to a wild coffee plant, for example, and know that, you know, if I've got a rash or a bite, I can pull that plant up and use the roots, cut it up and mash it up real good, add a little bit of water so it's kind of got a liquidy substance to it, you know, and then put that on my skin because that's a big antiviral and antibacterial properties. It'd be like prescription strength Neosporin, you know. Or let's say I ate too much cabbage palm and I'm constipated. I use that same root and make a tea out of it, make myself a laxative out of that wild coffee plant. Or I could sit there and take the leaves and use that as a tea for a natural diuretic and diaphoretic, meaning it's gonna make you pee and it's gonna make you sweat. Why would I ever wanna do that? Well, let's say you're out in the woods and you start feeling the flu coming along. You know, flu can kill you out there. But you make a tea out of those wild coffee leaves and you can actually self-induce your own fever. And that way, your body will eliminate that sickness faster than it naturally would have without the plant. You know, so, knowledge. This one right here is the Modern Herbal Dispensary. It's a good one right here. So, you guys, by the way, like, oh, slow down, like that. Chill. Just press the pause button, yeah? If you need to, scroll back a little bit till it's like me frozen, like, and you just write down that name. Pop it in there. So, I like this book. There's a lot of good knowledge in this. It's a lot of literature as far as its writing. You know, here we get into some pictures and stuff, but this whole back of that part of the book is nothing but writing. You know, different concoctions, different teas, different aromatherapies we've got here, other preparations topical preparations, elixirs, we've got teas, all kinds of different, and then this is showing you different ways too. You know, and there's some stuff to this, guys, like for example, you know, when you're making medicine from plants, like making a tea out of, like, let's say passion flower, well, a lot of that medicine actually evaporates as oils, you know, so you can keep a lot of that medicine in your cup of tea by knowing that and simply putting a lid on it. Because then as that condensation happens, that evaporation, we get the condensation, drops back in our tea. You know, so then we're able to drink that medicine and we don't lose that medicine into the air as it's boiling. You know, that's why we use a lid. So that's a really cool book. You know, seeing this has even got making basic extracts, you know, using the alcohols. Believe it or not, guys, but 80% of the world still receives its medicine through alcohol and teas, as far as these kind of elixirs. 80% of the world takes their medicine this way. It's the other 20% of us dropping like flies, taking nothing but pills, you know. This book right here, I'm not gonna lie, I bought this simply because of the name of the author. It said Tonka Luta, which means red buffalo bull, you know, in Lakota. So I was like, man, I want to check this out. But I haven't even really cracked it open. It is kind of only literature, as far as, like, there's no pictures or anything. I'm a big picture guy. I love, especially when I'm talking about a plant book, I want to have pictures of plants. I haven't had time to see the value of this. Is not saying it's invaluable, meaning I haven't had time to read it yet. You know, so I don't know if this is a good one or not. I've got it on my shelf to read, kind of thing. This one right here is a great one. Oh, I love this one. Encyclopedia of Medicinal Plants. This book right here is amazing. I love it. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Show me what you're working with. All these different kinds of teas. It's teaching you step by step what you need to do with what part of each plant. You know, I wasn't born knowing this stuff, guys. I'm not a medicine man. Like, people confused because I'm part Indian and I know a lot about plants, I'm a medicine man. No, 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 no. That is a whole different thing. I am just a common man. You know, but any common man can learn about plants. You know, so there's some great stuff in here and great pictures where it's real pictures, but, you know, you'll get sweet cherry and then it'll give the description and then the habitat and cultivation, the parts used, the constituents, you know, the history and folklore, the medicinal actions and uses, and the caution. And they give that on each plant. And I mean, this is, oh, I get goosebumps like just talking about this book. It's a good one, man. I mean, I highly, highly, highly recommend this one. This one should be in anybody's arsenal. I don't care how much knowledge you have. It's good to have a backup. Like, there's all the times where I think I remember it's the root on this plant that I use for this. Like, well, you know, if you ain't got an elder to ask, you know what I mean? It's good to rely on some knowledge. This next book is an absolute gold piece too. Peterson field guides. Peterson field guides are always a go-to. I love these because they're field guides, meaning like you can pack this in your backpack super easy. And surely any nature buff already knows about Peterson field guides, whether it be mushrooms or birds or reptiles. They're full of good pictures. Well, this one is the Peterson Field Guide to Medicinal Plants and Herbs of Eastern and Central North America, you know, so I live in Florida. I love this book because it's got colored pictures. It makes identifying the plants very, very, very easy. And remember, guys, we have the internet today too. you know, we have these cell phones. Download the app iNaturalist. When I go outside hiking and stuff, I like to learn about at least 2 to 3 new plants every time I go out. So I see a plant that I don't know what it is, it'd take me a day to sit there with a dichotomous key, you know, like going through everything. I'll snap a picture of it on iNaturalist. It'd tell me what it is, show me pictures right then and there. And when I know what it is, then I can go into the Peterson field guide, look up the index. Okay, rose mallow swamp. Boom, I love rose mallow. That's awesome that I just happened to land on that one. That's one of my favorites. But I sat there and go to rose mallow swamp. Okay, 195. 195. And kaboom. Got it right here. Right above the cardinal flower. You know, so this is the rose mallow, by the way. That's the cardinal flower. But my point is, then you can read about the medicinal properties of that plant. You can also rely on Google a lot too, as far as, you know, there's a lot of scholarly articles that you can read. And not only that, but you can get on different forums and things like that, and learn quite a bit from people. This is a good one here. How to Eat in the Woods, a complete guide to foraging, trapping, fishing, and finding sustenance in the wild. Great one for you bushcrafters out there. This book has a lot of cool pictures and a lot of cool like illustrations. So it's sitting there talking about different parts of the wood. He's talking about different fish and making traps. I mean, boom, here you go. Some guy's never skinned a fish before, you know, or filleted a fish. I would recommend probably watching some YouTube videos on that before he's cracked open a book. But there's some cool stuff in here that you wouldn't even see on a YouTube video, you know, like different spear points, you know, that are made, and all kinds of really neat stuff, you know, and that's just the fish section. You go in here, and here's how to trap birds and different things like that. It'll have a foraging section, like as far as a plant section. That was your animals. See, and now we have the different plants. Again, this book isn't real photographs. These are illustrated drawings. Personally, I really prefer colored photographs when I'm learning. But these books are great as to come back to it to learn something else. There's only this much in the Peterson Field Guide with the colored picture. But in this book or the next book, there might be 3 pages worth of stuff to learn about, you know? Let alone what is on the internet that you can find. Just value your sources, as far as don't just read anything that somebody's written. That can be kind of dangerous. This one, Florida's Edible Plants. This would be an obvious one that if you live in Kansas, this may not be a very good recommendation for you. In fact, I would probably recommend Kansas Edible Wild Plants, just being a smart aleck. This is a good one though. It has also illustrated drawings. Again, I don't prefer that, but it also has some colored photographs. So it gives you some examples, and boom, like it's showing death sign on these, which a lot of times are your medicines. Yeah, like belladonna or deadly nightshade. That's a very, very good medicine. I don't teach how to use that one because people can die, and I want to keep everyone safe. But a lot of the American Indian medicinal plants are considered very, very poisonous. You just got to know what you're doing. But for example, I would find okay, here's the fragrant water lily, and then I just pop back here into the index, look for fragrant water lily, find out what page it's on, and then kaboom, I'm reading all about it. You just kind of have to, you know, learn each book and how it works, you know what I mean? There's another Florida's Incredible Wild Edibles. I probably have just about every Florida book. This one's not that great, but like I said, I probably own every Florida edible book. A Naturalist in Florida, just because, I mean, that's a great book. You know, Land Remembered, you know, all those. Like, I have hundreds of more books in my living room. Braiding Sweetgrass. This is more of a deeper read, but an excellent read. Gets kind of into regenerative agriculture and things like that. This isn't an identification book. This is more of a appreciation book. And that's some Sarasota Natural Areas Guide. This was a children's book, but like I did the illustrations for it. Somebody commissioned me to do the illustrations. So I got like little cool little wolves and stuff like that. Some of these books now, getting into the Buhner. I like this guy, this Stephen Buhner, and I might be pronouncing the name wrong. This one was the first one that I read of his, called Plant Intelligence and the Imaginal Realm. But this author is super cool because he kind of combines spirituality with science, which obviously I like that a lot because I combine spirituality and science. I was looking at, we're already at like 16 and a half minutes, so maybe I do have to do a part 2 series of this. The Plant Spirit Healing, same author, that Buhner guy. Plant Spirit Medicine, really good. These are more of just reads, you know, that's not plant identification. That's why I'm not really going through those. I'm just suggesting some titles to you guys. This is Buhner, again, The Secret Teachings of Plants. It's some wild, cool stuff where you get to learn about mycelium networks and everything. Another Buhner book, I probably own all this guy's books, The Lost Language of Plants. I really, really love that one. That's an incredible read. Let's see, we got the Bushcraft Field Guide to Trapping and Gathering from my personal friend Dave Canterbury. These are awesome bushcraft books. You know, teaches you about different things, how to make different kinds of traps, different ways on how you can live in the woods. I've always known Dave Canterbury as an author. I had no idea he was one of those guys on the TV shows. But it's cool to call him a buddy of mine. And then we got another awesome book by Dave Canterbury, Bushcraft Illustrated. Again, I'm a sucker for pictures, you know. I really like this book. It's awesome. You know, it's setting there different ways to field dress animals, tie different kinds of knots, making primitive weapons and traps, some plant foraging techniques, all different kinds of cool stuff in there. And then lastly, but not lastly, or however that saying goes, the Trapper's Bible. Again, another dime piece for the illustration's sake and pictures, because this one includes actual photographs, historical stuff, and then cool drawings and illustrations. But that one's a really cool one too. I used to be a trapper, but that's a whole different other video. I hope that helps, guys. Thanks.